I think the new Deadpool movie is a dumb idea.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Wait, I can explain. Remember Multiverse of Madness, the Doctor Strange joint? Marvel was marketing an epic venture into what's now a concept that's been beaten to death. The multiverse. The only enjoyable execution of this idea today is playing Smash with Shaggy versus Arya Stark. Back in 21, however, this concept seemed to be a gateway to the unknown, endless possibilities, and a chance to see new incarnations of beloved characters. Some from the past, and some from the future, maybe? I think. Point is, the movie was a stinker, but the money train stops for nothing. So the multiverse is being reopened for Deadpool and Wolverine in theaters July 26. It's already broken records for ticket pre-sales. I got no clue as to why. So I wanted to spend this time to talk about a film that had us bury an old friend before Ryan Reynolds came to exhume him. Logan, the 2017 picture with Wolverine, was, and still is, one of the best projects of a Marvel IP that's been put out. Up until Logan, Hugh Jackman had been Wolverine in 8 different films, even if you don't count the 2 glorified cameos. That's still 6 movies. 2 decades. Logan didn't just serve as a farewell to Wolverine, but it was a goodbye to Hugh Jackman, who, like in the movie, was getting too old for this shit. The film's tone was unlike any Marvel film that came out before it, as was seen in the trailer. Johnny Cash's cover of Hurt hammered home that this was it. And director James Mangold, he also did Walk the Line, Johnny Cash's biopic. The story followed Wolverine, who now only goes by Logan because the X-Men are dead, and accompanying him is Charles, previously known as Professor X. If you know Charles, then you know that his whole thing is that he's psychic. He reads minds, speaks to people telepathically, etc. This time, however, he's super elderly and plagued with dementia, so you know this movie's going to be super depressing. If Charles doesn't take his medication, he can fall into a seizure that causes a psychic blast of sorts. Logan is also suffering from a disease. Apparently the adamantium in his body has been poisoning him over time, so he's aging and not really healing. He keeps Charles hidden below the Mexican border in a giant tank thing that kind of resembles the Cerebro effect from the original movies. One day, Logan gets a driving gig to pick up a woman. She's trying to get to the Canadian border to smuggle her mutant daughter to Eden, an alleged haven for mutants that's up at the Canadian border. Oh yeah, mutants are illegal, I think. They kind of hint at it, and why things are the way they are. But this story isn't about that. It's about Wolvie. He says no. She says please. He says okay. He goes to pick them up, but the woman is dead. He says fuck it and leaves, unknowingly bringing the daughter to his hideout, where she's tracked by the bad guys. She comes out of hiding carrying the head of a henchman, and reveals she has Wolverine's claws. Charles wants Logan to help save the girl, but he genuinely doesn't want to be a hero anymore. She makes it to the getaway car, so Logan reluctantly drives her away from the scary people. His rationale is that they're in it together now, so fuck it. Plus, the dead lady said there's more money waiting for him when they reach the destination. There's a corny and forced moment of exposition that has Logan watching a video on a phone of the lady explaining Laura. That's her name, by the way. So, the bad guys make kids, from forced pregnancies to give mutant abilities, to be soldiers, I think. They stop in Oklahoma City to spend the night at a casino. Ah, casinos. I spent so much money on the Wicked Wheel slot while coked out of my mind. Cocaine and gambling are 2 addictions that will bankrupt you. Really fast. Trust me. Sorry for the tangent. Where was I? Oh, the casino scene. Charles and Laura spend some quality time watching Shane, a 1953 classic western that shares themes with Logan, like dealing with mortality and living with a soul stained by killing. It's a nice bonding moment that later pays off with Laura's reaction to Charles's death. Logan goes to get a new car because the bad guys know the Chrysler limo that they've been driving. When he gets back, he finds the bad guys have staked out their location. But Charles has another seizure. He's been ducking his meds. It's a nice sequence, but can anyone tell me why the bodies are still paralyzed even after Logan kills them? I thought the point of the seizures were that they're telepathic. So wouldn't the bodies fall after there's no mind in them? I don't know. It's sad seeing Charles apologize to the crowd after they leave, though. It reminds me of the time I saw an old woman vomit on the table at IHOP. She was so embarrassed. On the radio, a woman reports the psychic event at the casino and refers to a similar thing that happened in Westchester. Westchester. Why is that familiar? Oh, duh. That's where the X-Mansion is. Or was. Did Charles accidentally kill all the X-Men? They leave the casino and head towards Canada when a sudden traffic kerfuffle causes Eric LaSalle to lose his horses. He's a rancher in this. Logan tells Charles that someone will come along to help them, to which Charles responds,
"Someone has come along."
Very thematic. They stop to help, and Charles even does his old mind-reading thing on the horses. LaSalle offers them dinner in return, to which Charles agrees. I get that Logan needs to learn to take in the good life, but historically, everyone he tries to spend time with doesn't seem to enjoy it all that much. They even decide to spend the night. Like, no, bro. Learn from your life. The house has low water pressure, but LaSalle says he knows what's causing it and goes to solve the problem, and Logan tags along. This might seem like a pointless moment, but it's actually very smart. Up until this point, the film's conflict has primarily consisted of the bad guys chasing the good guys. Tension gets lost when the conflict becomes redundant. We know that they're going to show up and LaSalle's going to die, but by introducing these cowboys that fuck with water pressure, the audience can be surprised when the bad guys show up again. And boy howdy, does that moment make an impact.
Meanwhile,
almost asleep, Charles notices Logan come into the room. He tells Logan that he understands him, and how he finally understands Logan's reluctance to be an X-Man, and how he knows about what happened in Westchester. The Westchester thing is never shown, but I think that makes it more effective. He looks over to Logan, and he gets stabbed in the chest. What? Turns out that the secret weapon that the bad guys were making was actually a Wolverine clone. I think that's nice. Wolverine facing the sins of his past through the reflection of his younger self. That's fun storytelling. You don't get something like that in the MCU's sacred timeline. I don't know. They fight, Logan gets away, they repair his clone.
some time later.
Logan passes out behind the wheel, and Laura takes him to a doctor. He thanks her, and she responds. She speaks Spanish. They get into it because Logan doesn't want to finish the journey. Can't blame the guy. His only friend just died. She insists, but he tells her that Eden is made up because it was in a comic book. That doesn't mean others won't congregate there, silly. He passes out again, so she takes the wheel and gets them to their final destination. Turns out she was right. Her friends from the lab are all there. This sequence reminds me a lot of Hook, the 1991 Robin Williams movie about Peter Pan. They got Logan being carried up in the pulley thingy, a Rufio fill-in, and even the Rolling Kid. He was my favorite. But on the way to Canada, The bad guys show up, and they have a big fight. The kids fight the bad guys while Logan fights his clone. They win, but Logan gets mortally wounded. He holds Laura's hand and says,
Oh, this is what it feels like.
to one not paying attention, he'd be referring to death because he's lived so long. But at LaSalle's house, Charles told him to take in the feeling of a family, to be with someone you care about, to love, to laugh, to live. He wasn't talking about death. He was talking about life. It's a powerful subversion. And with that, Wolverine was no more. Pee pee poo poo, I'm Ryan Reynolds and I'm so funny. I play Deadpool and break the fourth wall. Isn't that so cool? So meta. You like that. You like me talking Industrial Revolution and its consequences. You like it when I say the fuck word? I've been a disaster for That's so funny. Who says greatly increase the life I like unicorns because I'm so raw living quote-unquote look at the advanced country. So sexual. They have destabilized society. Remember the Dune one? Made life look like a butthole. It's have subjected human beings. You get it? Me and Hugh Jackman like this. Let the whitest I'm Ryan Reynolds, and you're gonna love it. It doesn't matter that he died, I'll make it as well. And you'll love it. Give us your money. We love money. You know what's sad? I'm gonna go see this anyways. Okay, bye.